Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So for this week class, we will proceed with chapter 2, data. So in this chapter, we will discuss about data, the types of data, sources of data, types of variables, and then the sampling method, okay, and the data collection method. Okay, so first is you need to understand what is data lah. So it is easy, you actually know what is data, but the definition of data is, it is actually information in a raw or unorganized form. Okay, so data can be in the form of numbers or symbol or alphabet. Okay, that refer to represent the condition, ideas or object. Okay, or data is a collection of observation on one or more variable, and the data is produced by the variable lah. And data is available everywhere around us, and it is limitless. Okay, so this is the example of data lah, variable and data. Okay, so in this case, we want to study the income. So the variable of interest is the income. Income is the variable. So to get the data, so we get the data from the respondent, and we get the data from 5 staff. Okay, from these 5 staffs, Ahmad, Ali, Aisha, Bazli, Zaki, we obtain the data from the staff. Okay, so the value of the income is the data. So from Ahmad, we get the data, the value of the data or the amount of the income is 2,400. Ali 4,500. Okay, so the amount of the income is the data. Okay, so why we collect data? This one we already discussed last week. Okay, so I just repeat it again. Why we collect data as input to research or study. We also collect data to measure performance. Okay, or measure satisfaction. Okay, this is some of the reason lah. Number 3, assist in formulating decision alternative. Okay, we want to make decision. So we want to study and list down all the possible alternative. Okay, satisfy curiosity. Okay, we wanted to know about anything, so we can collect data and get the information. Right, and then for the sake of knowledge, right? So sources of data, there are 2 sources, primary source and secondary source lah. So for primary source is a first-hand data collected by the researcher, okay, by his or her own. And secondary data taken from other resources, okay. So that is data. So for example yang tadi, okay, example yang tadi ni, kalau kita dapat value of the data, the amount of the income, okay, if we ask the respondent directly, kita tanya Ahmad, Adi, Aisyah, Bazri, Zaki ni, kita tanya dia berapa income dia directly, so it will become primary data lah. Okay, we got the data from the primary source. Or we can go to maybe from the human resource department punya record. Okay, we also can know how much is their income. Okay, so kalau macam tu kita pergi pada resource yang lain, dia jadi secondary data. Right? So types of variable ni is the what we want to study lah, the character under study. So macam contoh tadi, we want to study the income. So income tu is the variable. So variable ni boleh jadi ada two types, qualitative or quantitative variable. Okay, qualitative meaning that dia non-numeric. Okay, data tu non-numeric, maksudnya dia dalam bentuk alphabet lah. Okay, non-numeric. Okay, contoh data dalam bentuk categorical data. Okay, contoh gender female, male. Okay, dia bukan number, non-numeric. Race, type of car, SUV ke, sedan ke, MPV ke. Okay, so that is non-numeric data or categorical data. So types of variable tu under qualitative variable. So quantitative ni dia numeric lah, quantitative kan. So quantitative maksudnya dia numeric variable, data tu dalam bentuk number. So kalau yang tadi income tu is numeric data, so dia quantitative, right? And quantitative also we can divide it into two, either discrete quantitative or continuous quantitative. Okay, so discrete discrete quantitative and continuous. So discrete is finite, refer to data with finite number. Kalau continuous, data with infinite number. Okay, so kita tengok what is discrete and what is continuous, because some of the student they have problem to differentiate between discrete and continuous. Okay, nak differentiate between qualitative and quantitative tu senang. Qualitative non-numeric, quantitative numeric. But to differentiate between discrete and continuous ni ada yang masih confused lah. Okay, tapi dia sebenarnya senang je. So discrete data tu is finite and countable. Okay, kita boleh kira. For example, and dia dalam bentuk round number. Dia tak ada point-point lah. Okay, for example, number of car, number of student, kita boleh kira. 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars, okay, kita boleh kira, countable. Kalau continuous, dia opposite lah. Dia infinite and uncountable, but it is measurable. Okay, continuous, uncountable, but measurable. Kita ukur, kita tak boleh kira. Contoh weight kita measure the weight. Okay, kita guna the measuring scale, the weighting scale tu, kita measure the weight, kita bukan kira weight dia. Okay, so weight, distance, speed, itu antara contoh continuous variable. So normally continuous variable ni is the variable yang ada related to weight, height, distance, length, time. Okay, time also continuous. Lagi money, right? Itu contoh continuous variable. Okay, and the variable also we can classify it into scale of measurement. Okay, so we classify the variable into scale of measurement untuk start. So kita boleh decide what kind of analysis yang kita boleh guna untuk variable tu. Okay, so ada 4 scale of measurement. Nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio. Okay, so nominal and ordinal level tu dia untuk categorical data or qualitative variable lah. Okay, interval and ratio untuk quantitative variable. Okay, so untuk nominal, the categorical variable with no ranking order. Okay, ataupun ranking is not important. Contoh gender and race. Okay, So gender ni ada dua, male and female. So dia tak ada ranking dia. Male number 1, female number 2 ke, dia tak ada ranking. Right? So yang ni dia categorical and no, the ranking is not important. So yang tu nominal level. For ordinal level, dia categorical data juga. Okay, but the ranking is important. Ranking is important. For example, academic level, okay, school, SPM, diploma, degree, master degree, okay. So dia categorical, SPM, diploma, degree tu categorical, tapi dia ada ranking dia. So you kena ambil SPM dulu, after that boleh proceed with diploma, after that boleh proceed with degree. Okay, dia ada ranking dia. So bila categorical and the ranking is important, dia under ordinal level. Okay, contoh lain your grade lah. Your score grade A, B, C, D, E. Okay, dia categorical, dia bukan dalam bentuk number, non-numeric, tapi dia ada level dia lah. A maksudnya the highest score, and then B, and then C, and so on. Okay, dia ada ranking. So yang tu ada ordinal. So ordinal ni dia punya root word dia is order lah, order. Right, so kalau order, ordinal, the order is important. Right, the next level is interval. 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 So interval ni untuk quantitative variable. Okay, quantitative variable, but with no true zero. Okay, no true zero. Ataupun true zero ni is maksud dia zero means zero. Zero means tak ada. Okay, true zero means tak ada lah, zero. Benda tu tak ada. Okay, yang tu true zero. So untuk interval, data tu kuantitatif, tapi data tu dia tak ada true zero. Okay, maksudnya zero untuk data tu bukan maksudnya tak ada. Okay, contoh lah, contoh temperature. So kalau temperature zero, bukannya maksud dia tak ada temperature, tapi maksud dia apa? Kalau temperature zero ni maksud dia is beku lah kan, dia beku, dia sejuk lah. Temperature zero tu maksudnya sejuk, beku. So bukan maksudnya tak ada. Right? Lagi IQ score kalau zero bukannya maksudnya dia tak ada IQ, tapi dia punya level tu, dia punya measurement tu macam tu. Tapi bukannya maksud dia zero tu means nothing, tak ada. Right? So untuk ratio, dia quantitative juga, but with true zero. Okay, with true zero maksudnya zero means zero. Zero means tak ada. Contoh height, age, okay, ataupun number of car, number of student, okay. So kalau zero tu maksudnya tak ada lah. Right. Okay. So this exercise you can try out later together with the tutorial. Okay. Okay, alright. Next, kita nak discuss about the survey. So survey ni yang you all kena buat nanti dalam your project lah. Okay. So survey, ada two types of survey. Yang ni pun saya dah go briefly last week. Ada census and sampling survey. Okay, census ni is banci lah, yang macam sekarang kan, government tengah buat e-census. Okay, so census means we involve all elements in the population in the survey. Okay, so kita tak left out one element pun, semua mesti include in the survey, right? Sampling survey maksudnya we only study sample chosen from the population to involve in the survey. Okay, And the sample chosen tu must be random lah and representative of the population. Okay. So dalam chapter ni juga kita akan discuss nanti after this method how to select sample so that the sample selected tu will be a representative sample lah. Okay. So that's why we study statistic, because even we just study the sample instead of the whole population, we want to make sure that the sample selected it can represent the whole population and the data is a good data with no bias and so on. Okay. Okay, so how to select sample, how to select a good sample. Ada two methods of sample selection ataupun kita panggil sampling techniques. Okay, ada two methods of sampling techniques. Probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Okay, so yang bagusnya is the probability sampling lah. Okay, because if we apply the probability sampling, elements in the population have equal chance to be selected as sample. So dia tak ada bias. Okay, equal, dia ada chances yang sama to be selected as sample. So no element of bias. Okay, equal chance. So this method used when representativeness of the sample is important to the study, and we use this method when the result of the study are applicable to population. Okay, so bila kita guna this method, generalization is allowed. Maksudnya kita boleh buat conclusion or estimation or prediction on the population based on the sample data. Okay, so non-probability sampling, element have unequal chance of being selected. So dia ada element of bias exist there, and the result of the study are not applicable to the population. Okay. So biasanya non-probability sampling ni kita guna untuk survey yang macam pilot study ke, okay, kita nak buat pilot study ataupun a study where we don't want to apply the generalization, we just want to know some information tapi kita tak nak buat the generalization about the population. Okay, so we can use the non-probability sampling. So untuk our project nanti kita akan guna the non-probability sampling lah. Okay. So under probability samplings, there are four the most widely used sampling method untuk probability sampling lah. Kita ada simple random sampling, systematic, stratified and cluster sampling. Okay, for each of the method nanti you all boleh baca dia punya advantage and disadvantage of the method. Okay. So untuk simple random sampling, each item has equal chance to be selected. So cara kita nak perform the sampling senang je. Kita guna random number ataupun kita boleh guna lottery method. Okay. And then the second one, systematic sampling, involve drawing every K element in the population starting with a randomly chosen element between 1 and K. Okay, so the K tu is the sampling interval. Okay, nanti kita go through this method one by one, okay, how to perform the method. The third method, stratified sampling. So stratified ni kita guna kalau population size tu is big or they cover a big geographical area. Simple random and systematic kita boleh guna untuk population size yang tak berapa besar, a small population. Kalau bigger population kita kena guna sama ada stratified or cluster lah. Okay, so untuk stratified and cluster ni kita akan divide the population into smaller groups. So kalau stratified, the groups tu we call it strata. Cluster, kita panggil group tu cluster lah. Okay. So untuk stratified, we divide the groups into smaller groups, strata, and then we will select sample from each group. Okay. Untuk cluster pula, kita divide the population into smaller groups, or we call it cluster, and we will randomly select cluster as sample. Okay, so every member in that cluster will be selected as sample. Kalau stratified, kita kena pilih sample tu daripada setiap strata. Each strata tu mesti ada sample from each strata. Kalau cluster, kita just select one or two clusters ke, depends lah. Okay, berapa cluster yang kita nak. So the whole element in that cluster will be the sample. Okay. So the first method tadi simple random sampling. So simple random sampling, condition dia population, kalau kita nak guna this method, condition dia population tu mesti homogeneous ataupun dia ada same character, and then kita mesti ada a complete sampling frame. Okay, a complete sampling frame. So sampling frame ni is a list of the population. List of the population is the sampling frame. So kita mesti ada a complete sampling frame, baru kita boleh apply the probability sampling. Okay, so untuk run this sampling method, banyak cara yang kita boleh guna. Kita boleh guna lottery method ataupun random number. Okay, so bila kita ada sampling frame ni the list of the population. So first kita kena sort lah the sampling frame. Okay, first step kita get the complete sampling frame or the complete list of the population, and then we sort it. We sort the list and we label each element with a number. So katalah population kita 1000, so nanti kita akan ada list of population kita, katalah 1000 students, so nanti kita akan ada the list of 1000 student lah. Our sampling frame is the list of 1000 student, right? And then step 2, kita label each element with number. Okay, so kita label lah the student tu number 1 sampai number 1000, right? And then we choose one by one without replacement until we achieve the number of sample required. Okay, so let's say from 1000 population tadi, we want to select 50 sample. Okay, so kita akan select randomly lah daripada 1000 number tu, kita dah numberkan from 1 to 1000. So from 1 to 1000 tu kita akan select randomly 50 numbers. Okay, or 50 sample. So macam mana nak select the number randomly? Satu cara kita boleh buat lottery method. Lottery method ni is lucky draw, macam kita buat lucky draw method. Okay, kita masukkan all the numbers in a box and then kita draw satu-satu sampai dapat 50 number. So number yang kita dapat tu will represent the sample lah. So katalah kita dapat the first number we draw, we get number 10. So the person yang number 10 in the list will become our first sample, and then kita draw lagi. Katalah the second number kita dapat number 200. So the person yang dalam list tu number 200 will become our second sample. So kita repeat lah sampai kita dapat berapa sample yang kita nak. Kalau nak sample 50 samples, maksudnya kita kena repeat 50 times, right? So untuk systematic sampling, dia systematic sikit compared to simple random. Okay, so kita mesti ada, first kali mesti ada sampling frame juga. Okay, first kali mesti ada sampling frame. Kita mesti ada the list of the population tu mesti ada. Kalau tak ada, kita tak boleh perform probability sampling. Right, so mesti ada list of the population and then kita calculate the range. Okay, calculate the range. Range ni K capital N, sorry, pen kat sini. Okay, K, the range is K equal to capital N over small n. Okay, so capital N tu is the population size, small n is the sample size. Okay, so katalah population kita tadi 1000 and sample size yang kita nak is katalah 50. Okay, 1000 divide by 50. So kita dapat berapa? 1000 divided by 50 is 20. Okay, so kita dapat 20, the range lah. Okay, K tu is the range. Range dia 20. Okay, and then next step, choose R at random where R data is selected first. Okay. So R tu is the first sample lah. R ni is the first sample. Sorry because I just use the mouse. Alright. So first we choose R. R2 is the first sample. So how to choose R? We will select one sample randomly from the first interval. Okay. Kita punya interval size is 20. 20 ni is our interval size. So daripada number 1 sampai number 20, kita akan pilih satu number randomly. Okay, kita pilih randomly. Macam mana nak pilih randomly? Boleh buat macam tadi lah, lucky draw. Masukkan 1 sampai 20 je. So kita tak payahlah nak masukkan sampai 1000 number. Okay, kita masukkan number 1 sampai number 20 dalam box and then randomly select one sample saja. So katalah number yang kita dapat is number 10, let's say. Kita draw dapat number 10. So our first sample will be the 10th person in the list lah. Okay, yang number 10 dalam list tadi, yang ke 10 tu is our first sample. Okay, so untuk pilih next sample, kita tak payah nak repeat draw sampai 50 kali. Okay, kalau kita guna simple random sampling tadi, kita nak pilih 50 sample, kita kena repeat draw satu sampai cukup 50 sample. So untuk systematic, we just draw the first sample only. Okay, so kita dapat the first sample is the 10 people in the list. Right, yang ke 10 yang dalam list tu first sample. So untuk the next sample, kita just plus K. Okay, so next plus K, K 20. So next is 30 lah. Okay, plus 20, 30. The next one, the third one, plus another 20. Okay, K kita 20 kan. So plus another 20. The next one is is 50. So maksudnya orang yang ke 50 dalam list tu. Jadi sample number 3. And then plus another 20, 70. Sampailah kita tambah sampai kita dapat 50 sample. Okay. So itu cara kita nak perform systematic sampling. Okay. So next method, stratified sampling. So macam saya cakap tadi,